presenter's hat on. Let's go. So, hello, David, and good afternoon. I'm very grateful to have this opportunity here with you today and to have the time to speak about your transparent insights that so captured me when reading your book, your deep technical knowledge and your real life experience. I find when I talk to businesses owners and decision makers, they really struggle to make sense of technologies and terminologies of technologies. And do I already have a cloud, or they just don't know where to go from here? And there is so much information out there, so many offers, that it becomes very difficult. And I find that they are now paralyzed by the fact that the complexity is just too much for them. It'd be great if you could just very briefly introduce yourself, and then we can go through a few questions that I think will be useful for them.
Sure. It's great to be here, number one. I'm Dave Linthicum, former Chief Cloud Strategy Officer at Deloitte. Did that for a few years. Prior to that, I was a CTO about half a dozen times, different publicly traded small technology firms. Started and sold my own consulting firm twice. Wrote 17 books. Latest book was Insider's Guide to Cloud Computing. I have done the InfoWorld blog, cloud blog, for last 12 years. Done many podcasts. I have my own YouTube channel called The Cloud Insider, obviously related to the book. And I kind of focus on the realities of how this technology works for the enterprises out there and how they can get their best value from leveraging this technology effectively, no matter what that technology is.
I just find it great to have somebody like you with so much experience and knowledge. And how would you say for the business decision makers, how can they understand those cloud technologies to be able to make an informed decision? Does it start like that? How can they align the technologies with their business challenges?
Well, that's a great question. My advice is something they usually don't want to hear. It's learn, 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 learn. So you're going to have to become not only very in depth on what your issues are. In other words, the context of the problems you're trying to solve, and learn those to as much detail as you can, and then understand the marketplace in terms of what technologies are out there, and align yourself with some smart people who can guide you through the different technological things, who don't bring a lot of biases in there. So if you do bring, the cloud provider in there and you're trying to get them to solve a problem, they're obviously going to come up with their own tools and technologies. So you need somebody who's a true architect and who's a heart of a teacher, not the heart of a salesperson, to look at the breadth of technology out there to figure out what technology stack is going to provide the best value for you, for your enterprise. And I think that's where people fall down. So they're not willing to do the work, which is a lot of work, by the way, to understand the marketplace and get the right people and hire the right people. There's not a lot of people out there that can do that kind of work. And even understand your own data, understand your own processes, understand your own security requirements, all those sorts of things. But you're not going to get to an optimized state unless you do that stuff. That's the bad news. The good news is it takes less time than it did 2 years ago, because we have AI tools to do data discovery. We can go through our PDF files to summarize things. We have lots of tools and technology to make this a much more faster process, but it is a process that I recommend that everybody go through. They're trying to guess your way through it, which is what a lot of enterprises do, is going to always come up with very mixed results, and most of them are going to be bad.
I like the way you broke it down into good news and bad news, because there is a lot of effort in understanding. It's a highly complex subject, we could say, with so many technologies involved. And I also like the way you use the word an architect, not just a technologist, but a person who can understand from the high level the applications you have and where you are in your journey, if you have started or not, and then be able to advise. So I guess basically you just need true knowledgeable consultants, per se, in-house or outsourced, to be able to work with you for a period of time, because it's not a quick thing, right?
Surround yourself with smart people. And some people are going to have the luxury of hiring those people. They're pretty expensive, so just kind of prepare yourself. And also pick people that aren't coming to you with innate biases, which I think it's a epidemic out there. So, someone who has an AWS architect certification, has gone through the rigmaroles of doing that, they're typically going to be biased toward AWS. Same thing with Azure, same thing with Google. And so you have to have somebody with a breadth of understanding and is able to understand that we're going to look at a wide variety of technology, and the ability to bring that technology into fold is going to take a breadth of knowledge. And so architects are the best way to do that. You just have to hire the right ones that are looking out for the business. And you got to remember, they can always get to a state that works. It always drives me nuts. They'll put together a very inefficient and under optimized architecture, and their excuse will be, well, it works. And it's a complete 100% Azure solution, AWS solution, because that's what the church they pray in. And I'm saying, well, it does work, but I believe it costs 10 times as much to run this thing in an operational state. So you're not solving the problem. You're getting to something that's functional, but it's not functionally practical for the business and what you're looking to do. And we have an epidemic of this out there. People are running very under optimized architectures. They're burning too much money. They're burning too much power. And that's because we haven't looked at this and the selection of the technology as a discipline, and also opening our minds to the fact that it's going to be things that we may not have thought of, including mainframes and edge computing and some of these other things that are around to deal with the tools. And also, we're going to typically deploy best of breed technology that's going to be heterogeneous 9 times out of 10. So we're dealing with the complexity of doing that and the ability to manage and operate through it. So it's a lot of things that I think people are starting to consider now that they got the big cloud bills in 2022, and understand that inefficiency is something you're going to have to pay for. So they're looking to build for efficiency now, and even going back and optimize their existing architectures. We're not doing it at the degree I think we should be, but it is occurring.
It's interesting that you mentioned some points. I remember early days of VMware and virtual machines, where we used to try to talk to or educate our customers on the benefits of virtualizing your servers. And I do remember that when it actually really started to sell was when you could actually put an Excel spreadsheet together and show how much less they would pay for their electricity bill. And so it completely went over all the benefits. So in the end, it worked for them because they had that cost cutting, which is also a concern in businesses, but they seem to have not focused so much on the benefits that it would bring for them. Which leads me to another question to you. What happened? What do you think would happen for a company that is delaying too much looking into that? I just don't understand it. It's working, so if it's not broken, don't fix it. And so what's the future, the near future and the long-term future for companies that are thinking this way?